So today we are going to be talking about how to create estimates in QuickBooks Online. There are going to be times when you are going to work with clients who would like to know how much you're going to charge them before they agree to actually working with you. Also, um, a lot of people use third-party quoting apps to send estimates to clients. I personally do that. But nonetheless, those quotes will then need to come into QuickBooks at some point as an estimate. So it's nice to understand how this process works internally. And if you don't have the budget for a third-party application, or you just don't want the headache of dealing with yet another piece of software, the quoting application in QuickBooks is actually really good. The only thing that you cannot do is get digital signatures. But nowadays, with the ability to send a PDF and get it digitally signed, that actually may not even be a big deal anymore. So I want to make sure that we understand how to do estimates in QuickBooks. So just like we did with invoicing, we're going to click the Create button. And under your customer column, we're going to go to Estimate. And as you can see, the estimate screen looks almost identical to the invoicing screen. So we're going to choose a customer. And I think we'll do Bills when Surf Shop. And in the estimates, this little icon underneath the customer's name lets you choose your estimate status, whether it's pending, accepted, closed, or rejected. Because this is a brand new estimate, we're going to click pending. We have the estimate date. I'd like to give clients an estimate end date because you don't want it out for years and years and years because your price may change in 6 months or 30 days. So I'm going to say in this particular case, I want it to expire on the 20th of September. So when we get down to this next section here, again, it looks just like it did on the invoicing. Choose your product. So we're going to do some design work for $75. And then we're going to do some gardening. And let's say we're going to do 10 of those at $50. And we want to give the client a subtotal. Because perhaps the client knows for sure that these are two things that they want to have done, but they're not sure if they want us to install the new garden. So let's go ahead and click installation just to give them an estimate of how long we think or how much we think we will charge for the actual installation of their project. So that's an additional $250. So now, as you can see, we have the initial part of the work request from the client that subtotal is $575, but we're also letting them know that, hey, there's this option of an additional $250 for the actual installation of your landscape design. You need to decide, again, if this is taxable or not taxable. So let's say we're going to say just the installation portion is taxable, and that will calculate a tax of $20. If you want to include a message, a custom message on the estimate, you can do so. If you have any attachments, then you can add that. So we're going to just hit save instead of save and send and save and close, because I want to show you how the workflow for estimates will work. So after you've created the estimate and the client says, yes, we love it, we want it exactly the way you sent it to us, you can change it from pending to accepted. So let's say this is accepted by Bill. And he did it on 8/20. Okay, so Bill has accepted our quote, yes. Now we want to create an invoice. So we're going to save this. Again, we're going to update it because QuickBooks is like, hey, you made a change and you didn't save it, so let me do that. So the good thing is once I have my estimate done and once it's been accepted, I can just click Create Invoice. And lo and behold, there is the invoice. It has pulled in all the information from this attached estimate. And if you turn on projects, which we'll get to at another module, you can also do partial invoicing. So if a client says, if you decide that 50% of the project is due upon receipt of the quote, and then the other balance is due at the end, you can actually go in here and send your 50% deposit invoice, and it will leave the estimate open showing that there's still whatever the half of that is. And then once it is done, you can go in and build the remaining balance. So that is a really cool feature if you do what they call progress invoicing. So then you could just hit save. In this case, you want to go save and send because you've done the work. We've already talked about how to send invoices, so I'm not going to go to a lot of detail. Save and close, and we're done. Yes, we sent an invoice. How exciting. If you have the type of business that purchases materials for your clients based on an individual job, and you need to create a purchase order, you can also do that from the estimate. I'm not going to go over that right now in detail because there are very few businesses I think that's going to participate in this course that this may apply to. However, if you have the type of business, for example, I met someone recently who has an appliance repair shop, and they go to consumers' homes and fix your washing machines, your refrigerators, your stoves, and things like that. And so it is physically impossible for them to stock components for all those different brand models in their warehouse. It's just there's not enough space to do that. So once they've gone to the client's home and diagnosed the problem, they then place an order. And it'd be great for them to be able to tie that order to the estimate and then to the actual invoice. And that helps when it comes to call your job costing, to know how much is this job costing me. Yes, I spent, I made 1,000, but if I ended up spending 1,200, then I actually lost money on that job. Again, we're not going to go in a lot of detail with that. I, feel like I kind of went a little overboard, but I just want you to know that if that sounds like something that you do or you might need to do, drop a note in the Facebook group and let's talk one-on-one to make sure that you have that process set up. So that is it. That is creating estimates in a nutshell. So we will see you at the next lesson.